Hello there, Lorcana lovelies, Poke Pals, Magic players, anybody who is writing up deck lists and has questions about why they're doing it and what the judge is going to do if they're deck checked. I have some answers for you. So I'm coming at this from two perspectives here. I'm coming at this from the perspective of the judge who has run the deck checks and the player who has written up a lot of deck lists and once has even been deck checked myself. So I remember when I was deck checked, I was super stressed out about it, even though I had 10 years worth of doing the deck checks for Pokemon and knowing that they're not that big of a deal. I've heard people be real stressed out about deck checks, thinking one, real worried about, oh no, did I make a mistake? Oh no, is the sleeve in bad condition? To people being really concerned that it is an accusation that they're cheating. First of all, I want to put out there it is not an accusation that you're cheating. Even though deck checks can be done for that reason, it's pretty rare that they are, at least in comparison to just the random deck checks that judges do. So at big tournaments like Pokemon Regionals or Lorcana Challenges or a lot with Magic, anything that says qualifier in it, the judges are supposed to do a certain percentage of the room is supposed to be deck checked. So the general number that's thrown around typically is 10% of the room or more should have their decks checked at some point in time in the tournament. And typically you do it at the beginning of each round. And so you're not just doing all at once because that takes a long time and it's easier to just grab two people's decks or 10 people's decks, depending on how many people are in the room, and have a couple of judges check it each round. If you are deck checked, you'll get a time extension. So it's not like if it takes them 20 minutes to check your deck, you're going to be 20 minutes short on your round. You will get a time extension for that. So don't worry about that at all. Um, why are deck checks done? Well, it's kind of like a protection for cheating, because if people know that a judge is going to be double checking to make sure that their list is accurate to what's in the deck box and to make sure that their deck is a legal deck, so that's everything is being played is legal to be played, the format being played, or that there's no banned cards in it, or that there's no like 5 copies of a card. It stops people from doing the wrong thing, hoping that they can get away with it. So first line of defense against people cheating is one of the reasons for deck checks. And it also makes sure that people double check their work to make sure that their deck is accurate before they show up to the tournament. Hopefully, after my little video here, it'll also get you to check your sleeves beforehand and make sure that they're in good shape. So how does a deck check work? Well, I did a quick deck check to myself here, and here's the real quick version of what I did. Every judge will do it slightly differently, but I take the deck, I take it out of the box, and I make sure that I grab every single card. So if you've gone shopping, if you've got promos for being at the event, anything like that, do not store them in the deck box that your deck is in, because it's going to be tossed into a deck check if you're a deck checked, and it's going to be soon be part of the deck, even if it's in different color sleeves. So don't do it. Carry a different kind of box or whatnot to put your prizes or your shopping in. Next, the judge is going to lay it out like I have here, like cards with like cards, so that it is easy to check numbers of each card against your deck registration form. Everyone's kind of got their own way of laying things out. For Lorcana and Magic, it is probably by ink or mana cost. For Pokemon, it's often like Pokemon one pile, trainers in another pile, and then energy in a pile after that. Then you take the deck list and you count each version of card and you make sure that it's accurate to what the list says. So 4 Troubadours, 4 Robin Hoods, 4 Cinderellas. If my deck says that I've got 4 of each of those cards or deck list, I'm good there. You'd repeat the process for each every one of those, but I think you get the idea, so I'm just going to gather them all up there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure there's no marked cards. So one thing that is sometimes done is you let the deck kind of sit there and kind of naturally fall apart from side to side to see if it always opens up to the same card or very similar cards. So give it a quick kind of shuffle and move cards around, whatever, and do it again and see if it's the same Rapunzel. It's not. So you might do this a couple times, see if it's kind of the same card. So this might just, and this might naturally happen. This doesn't mean that you did it on purpose. Foils will sometimes kind of warp and bend things there, but people who are intentionally doing it, it'll probably show up more. So next thing that a judge is going to do, make sure that all of your sleeves are the same height, because when you're shuffling it, if a sleeve is a slightly different height, like probably taller, I imagine that would be the easier one to find. It's easier for you to find and be able to figure out where you want to manipulate. So sleeve same height, that's important. Last thing, this one takes the longest. No, it takes longer to lay out the deck, but this is a lengthy process. You go through every single sleeve and you look for any bit of dirt marking, cuts or like abrasions on the back, anything that could be considered marked. So I've got a couple here. I've been playing with these sleeves for a while. and they're white sleeves, which means they show up, they show everything. So I've got a couple of marks on sleeves. I did not intentionally mark any of my sleeves. This is just me playing for with the same sleeves for like a couple months now, which I guess brings me to my next point, which is if you are sleeving up a deck to go to a tournament, use new sleeves before you sit down for round one. Um, I know that new sleeves are slippery and slide from side to side, but new sleeves will have no marks on them. So that at least kind of clears this part up. If you make day two, re-sleeve your deck again. So go through each and every single one of these. As I said, make sure that they all look good. A lot of times judges will like wipe it off because sleeves will pick up stuff from the table and from your hands. If it wipes off, it's fine. Probably double check the cards that were like marked and make sure that like if they're all the same card, it's suspicious. If they're not all the same card, it's a little bit less suspicious. If you're like 9 rounds into a tournament, it makes sense that some of the sleeves might have gotten dirty, and so you just ask the players to switch their sleeves around to change them all up. If you notice it as a player, if you're shuffling up your deck from round to round, or if you are, if you have got time in between rounds and you do like a pile shuffle or whatnot, check the backs of your sleeves and try to catch it yourself first. So always carry extra sleeves on you. So that is how a deck check works. Like I said, there's extra steps sometimes. Sometimes judges will each do it generally differently, but those are the things that they're looking for. To make sure that your list matches what's in your deck, to make sure there's no extra cards in your deck box, first of all, or second of all, I guess, and to make sure that there's no marked cards that you have. So how do you fill out a deck list? Well, it depends on the game. A lot of places take digital submissions now, which is great because it means you can make your digital thing, send it off to them, and then as a TO and a judge, it means that I'm guaranteed to be able to read the writing that is on the piece of paper. But if you're filling this out kind of old school wise, or if you have like a editable PDF and you're filling it that way, how do you do it? Depends on the game, like I said. I don't have a version for Magic, but Magic's pretty similar. I can kind of work my way through that verbally. We have Pokemon here. So I have the 2003 version of this because this is what I found on my computer. So I guess first off, make sure you have the most up-to-date version of the deck list. And for Pokemon, the reason that it has the year on it is because there's different sets released obviously each year. And Pokemon wants to know what set each of your cards are from. So the fun little uh, thing at the side there shows you the set symbols and the set codes, so you don't have to go looking for them. It's right on the deck registration list. You'll need your Pokemon player ID if it's for Pokemon. Magic and Lorcana, you don't really need that yet, but or Magic you used to, you don't really need it anymore. Lorcana, you don't need it yet, but who knows what the future holds. Pokemon, you need your birthday, and then you're gonna fill out your deck list here. So for Pokemon specifically, like for the Pokemon section of Pokemon, I need to know the quantity of the Pokemon you're playing, the name of the Pokemon, the set that it's from, so the set codes that I mentioned on the side there, and the collector number in the set. Reason for that is there's a lot of Pikachus, there's a number of Vulpixes, there's a lot of Gardevoirs, and each of them do different things. In fact, like sometimes with like the stage ones, there's a couple of them in the same set that do like just different things enough that makes them different Pokemon. So write down the collector number and the set in this specific columns for it. If you have different rarities that you're playing, if the exact same Pokemon, they have to be listed separately as well. Trainers and energy, super easy, especially compared to the Pokemon. I don't need to know what set they're from or their collector number because every trainer with the same name does the same thing. So Professor's Research always does the same thing. Arvin always does the same thing. Water energy is always the same thing. So I just need to know the number that you're playing and the name of it. After that, we are going to look at Lorcana. So Lorcana is a little bit simpler here. There's no sets that I need to know specifically, but I do need to know the exact name of the card. So you write down the date, location, event name, all that stuff, your name at the side. And when it comes to the cards, I need to know how many you're playing, and I need to know what version of it is. So don't write down Cinderella because there's a couple Cinderellas. And even if you think, well, only one type of Cinderella is played in this deck, I still need to know which Cinderella it is because you might be doing something kind of cute, fun, or different in your deck and playing a different version of it. So writing down Maui doesn't tell me if it's the demigod Maui, the shark Maui, the hero of all. I need to know what version of it is that you're playing. I don't need to know if it's enchanted or foil or whatnot. I just need to know what the card is. So write that all down like that. Don't write kind of little cute shortcuts. Don't write like singer Cindy. Write down Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. Conveniently, If you're stressed out about doing this, there are, like I said, ways to do it digitally. So if you're doing Pokemon, Arcanine Labs will has like a submission form. If you're in Magic and using Melee, Mealee's got its own submission form, and I'll show you a way to do it with Lorcana as well. Oh, Magic. So for Magic, if you're filling out kind of an old school deck registration form like this, the thing that you note that is different about it is that I need to know what is your sideboard versus what is your main deck. So your main deck goes in one area, your sideboard gets written in another area under sideboard. Okay. Deck lists here. So if you go to Dreamborn, I've got, or anywhere you do a digital deck list probably has a way to do this. So I've got this on Dreamborn here. Now, piece of advice, before you print or export this, double check it to what's in your deck. So grab your deck, lay it out like that, and double check to make sure that all of this information here is accurate to what is in your deck list. Next, on Dreamborn at least, you're going to go into menu, go into registration sheet, and just download or print this off. If your TO is taking digital submissions, you can probably just download it and email it to them. If you want to walk in with a printed version, always a smart idea either way. Print it off, and you've got what you need there. So what does that look like when it is exported? This is what it looks like here. So it doesn't have the date, it doesn't have the location, it doesn't have the event name, it doesn't have my name on it. So I'm going to go fill out all of that stuff, but the cards and the quantity that I have in my deck is all there. Good idea to double check this one more time. So what does it look like if I zoom in? Let me show you. So number of the card that's in the deck and the exact name of the card. So Calhoun Marine Sergeant, Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, it's all kind of written out there like that. So if you want to kind of skip the writing it out by hand, you can just kind of go into one of those digital forms and do it that way. So that's kind of the gist on deck checks. They are not stressful. Don't be stressed out about them if they happen to you. Just kind of pass it all to the TO, sit back, relax, and wait for them to give you your deck back. Give it a really, really good shuffle afterwards, and then sit on down and play with your opponent. Hope this takes some stress off of deck checks and gives you some answers about what they are. If you are playing in any upcoming events, any regionals, any set championships, any qualifiers, good luck. Hope you do well, and we'll talk to you later.